Okay, here's my assignment. I'll go ahead and run it. Here you can see that it's working. Then I'll go ahead and just go through all of the new stuff, or all the stuff I was assigned. So cleanup, we're just using one regular expression to replace everything that isn't a regular character, an alphanumeric character. These are all provided. Oh, and that's O to the 1. This is provided. We have remove, which runs at on squared. So what we're going to do here is we're going to compare. We have value, value 2, and value 3, which are the regular all lowercase and all uppercase versions of it. Now we use temp to just cycle through and see if anything equals our value that we're looking to remove. If it does, we take the previous index and set the next of that to the next index that isn't that value. So that's what this loop does. We have our outer loop to find the value, and then once we find the value, we use the inner loop to search the values after that until we find one that is that we don't want to remove. So that's how we need to do that in order to remove blocks. If we have like multiple words that we want to remove in a row, and that runs at O squared. Insert order. So if the header data is null, then we just set the header to a new node. If there's only one element, then that has to be treated kind of special. So we have an if statement for that. So we're just going to get whether or not we're going to compare using this method that wasn't included. Just a helper method I made called get first alphabetical. So it'll return a 0 if the first parameter is first alphabetically, and a 1 if the second parameter is first alphabetically. And then we're just gonna, set them accordingly. And then if there are 2 plus elements, then we're going to use temp to cycle through, and then see if. So we first check the header element. And if we don't have to do anything there, we check the remaining elements. So we're going to use a while loop to just go through until we find where it belongs, and then we just set our nexts and previously accordingly. And then if we've reached the end, because we start at header, so once we've reached the end, once temp.next equals header, that means we've gone all the way through and we didn't find a place to put it. So we'll just put it at that means it belongs at the end. And so we put it there. Here's that first alphabetical, runs at on squared. So we have this, and then we have other. If either of them are null, we return the appropriate integer. We split those into character arrays and then compare the ASCII values. We use this if statement to make sure that everything is lowercase when we compare the values. And then if this is lower alphabetically, we return a 0. And if the first parameter, which I have labeled as this, but the first parameter is lower, we return a 0. The second parameter is lower, we return a 1. And if that somehow fails, we return a -1. Now we have insert order unique, which is just going to go through and for each item, for each node, it's going to check the data against the item you're trying to add. And if it finds one, it'll set the Boolean same to true. If same is false, we insert it. Otherwise, we return that we found something that was the same, and we don't insert it. And then we have merge, which will just go through and insert all of the values from both tables, or from both lists. And that runs at O to the N. Actually, I didn't put that in, so O to the N. Here we go. Yeah, so that is my project, or my assignment. Thank you for watching.